Welcome to Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the fifth dimension.
Welcome to another podcast episode of Merkaba Chakras. I'm your host, Vaughn Galt, and today we discuss one of my favorite topics, energy healing. Now, in Buddhism, all fifth dimension and above energy healing is done by source through the people as a conduit. And we're going to learn more about the Jin Shin Murai method with president of the Jin Shin Institute, Alexis Brink. So with that, Alexis, welcome to Merkaba Chakras.
Hi, thank you so much for having me and for this beautiful introduction. It's a privilege to be here today and share with your community.
Yes, I love these topics, and energy healing is just synonymous in it's one of the basic things that are taught in Buddhism for people who are ready for the advanced stuff. It's just kind of a foundation. And there's so many different ways and so many different Buddhist monks and nuns that contributed their life work from different monasteries into the canon. So I mean, I can go on and do hundreds and thousands of episodes on various energy healing modalities because there's just so many different varieties. So before we dig into your work, can you tell us how you even got into this in the first place?
Yes, that's kind of a fun story. I was born and raised in Amsterdam, Holland. And when I was 18, I moved to New York to be on Broadway, to be a Broadway dancer. And
Ooh.
so I got into this dance company and the American Dance Machine, and we had this teacher. She was very, very tough. She was from Russia, and she trained us with an iron fist. And one day I did a turn and I hurt my knee. And
Mm,
so a friend of mine took me to one of his sessions. He thought this was very interesting work.
mm,
And so I met this lady, Philomena Dooley. And so after his session, she said to me, "So what's with you?" And I said, "Well, I have this knee problem." And she, "Wait, stop. We call them projects instead of problems because they're fun to work with and we change them." And I said, "I have to stop dancing for 6 weeks at a time. And I've tried everything." And she said, "Come here." And she did something with my toes. And I was
mm-hmm.
able to go back to rehearsal the next day. And so she said, "Why don't you take my workshop and next week?" And I did. And I said, "This is what I want to do the rest of my life." It was just
Mm,
there was something about it, and this is something what you're talking about, these ancient traditions that connects us to source, that just pulled me into this work. And at the same time, I was able to maintain my knee healthy by just doing simple holds myself. So
mm-hmm.
that's basically how I got into this work.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And one of the things about injuries is that when you get out on the other side of it, there's so many different ways to address injuries, and not to not give credit to standard medical procedures and ways to address injuries, but sometimes some of the other ways and ancient ways that different traditions have found could work for people as well. And so for you, it worked for you. So the Jin Shin is actually a Japanese healing art that
Yes.
was founded by Murai when he tried to make peace with his terminal illness and prepared to die using Zen Buddhist meditations. So instead of dying, which is what he was preparing to do from his terminal illness, he had his awakening and a transformed energy healing from source through his Zen Buddhist meditations. He actually had very much the same or similar story than another Zen Buddhist from Japan, which is the another hypnosis practitioner as well. I can't remember the name of it. But that's what happened to him. And so from then on, he taught his healing trade and it's just carried on from there. So can you tell us the process of how the non-local energy from source moves through the practitioner's hands and throughout the client's body? So that's a basic foundation for how this works, so people
Yes,
can understand.
just to clarify, when Jiro Murai went into the mountain cabin to heal himself, he used mudras that we share now with everybody who studies Jin Shin Jyutsu, and he also used fasting and meditation, and based on that, he did all of his research. And so we use universal energy that is really available to all of us. And so when we apply our hands to the body, we use this universal energy. So we're not giving out our own energy or taking energy from the client. We're merely there as facilitators, and we call our hands jumper cables. And so when you apply them to the body, our ego gets out of the way and we connect to universal energy. So this is something that we can actually all do. And so there's nothing really magical about it. And sometimes the word consciousness or universal energy seems a little esoteric, but that is the thing. It's like in the East, people are aware of energy or
Hmm.
ancestral energy. It's the energies of generation. It's something that goes beyond us. And for us in the West, we're just getting used to this kind of terminology. But we've all experienced it. When you are in the flow of things and things are going your way, then you're in rhythm with the universal energy.
Right. Well, let me ask you something, because just like Mr. Murai and yourself, he had terminal illness, you had the broken ankle, you're not in the flow and connecting to the higher energies of the universe at the time. So when you're not in that flow, how can somebody get into that higher energy within themselves?
So by practicing the art of Jin Shin, it brings us back into rhythm with this universal energy. And it's similar to, a lot of people are aware of yoga or
Mm-hmm.
meditation or mindfulness. It brings us back to that state of being where we are in harmony with this energy. So in that way, it's accessible to all of us. And when we injure ourselves, you're right. In that moment, we are not in rhythm with this universal energy. Maybe we're trying really hard, or there is a fear, or we worry, our emotions come into play with it. And then sometimes we can get injured, or there's also there's that, and then there's also our genetic predispositions, of
Mm-hmm.
course, that can sometimes bring on disease or disharmony. So we look at all of those things.
All the different aspects. And I just want to clarify for people who still try to understand, because in the East, in Asia, it's very common. We have lots of different names for this universal energy that flows through everything within samsara, everything within the matrix, everything within us, within you, within the trees, the soil, the air. Everything that in creation has the same universal energy vibrating at different frequencies to make the shape or the form or the being that is talking, but it's the same energy. It's what they call prana. It's what they call chi. It's what they call life force. It's what they call the one Buddha mind. It's what they call the spiritual emptiness that runs through everything. I mean, all these different names. In the West, there isn't very much of a concept of universal besides God.
Yeah, well, and we can call it unconditional love. That's one
I,
of those expressions. And then
yeah.
interesting thing is Einstein talked about matter being energy in it's a different frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So so we have matter and energy, or matter and space, being the same at a different frequency. So if you look at it in that way, that our body, our physical body, is
Mm-hmm.
a reflection of the universal energy or the consciousness or space. Our
Mm-hmm.
body is the reflection of space. And so it's a mirror image. And when you start to practice on yourself, for example, holding a certain part of your body, this is, for example, a point we're working with, you feel a pulsation coming up from this point into your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
And when this pulsation begins to harmonize, you feel that it softens and it begins to change. That's when our body gets in rhythm with this universal energy. So you explained it beautifully, what it is. And so does that make sense what I'm explaining to
Yeah,
you?
that definitely makes sense. And it's just like when you make a connection, when you can make a connection to anything within source. So like when you're not connecting to anything, then you feel your individuality, you feel a little bit of separatism so that there's some kind of form. But when you like touch, like I touch this pen, now its energy has become part of me and I can still feel it, but now it has become part of me and separate from the space outside. So it gets really esoteric, but in short, for the people who are unfamiliar still with this concept of universal energy, it flows through everything and everyone, even the people that you hate. It flows through them equally. Even the things that you dislike, it flows through them as well. If it exists, it flows through that, and it also flows through the space in between so that there is a space in between, so there is distinction in form. So, not to get too esoteric, but I just want people to really understand that because when you understand energy medicine and you see that it's all connected, then there's no difference between you healing yourself, you healing me, or you healing somebody from the other side of the world.
Mhm.
There's no separation.
And when our energy flows in harmony in our body, then the body can function optimally. And so that's why healing can occur. And the beautiful thing is that with each breath that we take, with each cycle of breath, the
Hmm.
body heals and we can connect to this energy that you're talking about. So, in that way, it's very simple and accessible to all of us.
Yep. Yep. So I just wanted to clarify that, and thank you for clarifying, Alexis. So now we can get into the practical aspect of this. So when somebody is doing Jin Shin Murai, do their hands heat up? I mean, what does the client feel when you're
Mhm,
touching somebody's, body where they hurt?
mhm. Um, so that is different for everybody. First of all, when you work on yourself or when you give when I give a session to someone, it usually is very, very relaxing. It's deeply relaxing because once the energy
Mm,
starts to move, your body really relaxes, the breath becomes even, and you go into this parasympathetic nervous system because
mm,
the breath really calms down, and then everything starts to move. So when there's energy that there is blocked, it starts to flow uninterruptedly, and
mm,
so that feels really great. So sometimes people say, oh, your hands are getting really warm, and that's energy moving within my body, because as I have to connect to this universal energy, which we call the light, or depth 7, my body starts to harmonize too, even though I'm not giving out my own energy. So it's merely just facilitating and harmonizing the person's
mhm.
energy.
Yeah. So the way I see it, I like to relate things so people can understand it with kind of analogies and practical use. The way I see it, when your hands heat up or the person feels a specific area that's getting a lot of intense energy, um, a momentum going on, is it's just kind of like those medical equipment where if you have to kind of shock somebody back in, where they put it on the body and they shock them back in. It's kind of like and it just fills up with energy, just shocks them back into consciousness. But your hands kind of function like a tool in which you is that
Yeah,
how it
like the way today we compare it to like connecting to the internet. It
mm-hmm,
really allows you to get global, so big and as big as you want. And then if you unplug it from the internet, you still have your own environment, like your own documents. And so that's the individual body. And then when you
mm-hmm,
connect it to the internet or you plug it in, then you can connect to something much larger than just your individual body.
mm-hmm,
So one of the, to make it again really simple, because I like to always bring it back to simplicity, is that we are all born with this. I mean,
mm-hmm,
a baby, they know to suck their thumbs, right? And they're self-soothing and they're
mm-hmm,
harmonizing their digestive system. Or you're seeing somebody holding their cheek, This is where the stomach flow begins, and
Mm.
they're helping their digestive system. It helps to release stress. Or when somebody goes like, "Oh, I forgot," at this point helps mental clarity. So innately, we
So we
already,
naturally do it. We already know the points.
yeah, yes, we are
Mm.
already born with this knowledge.
Mhm.
And all these ancient traditions are really based on this same innate knowledge that we already know, but sometimes when we're not in tune, that we
Mm.
forget. And it's, we have our hands so we can heal and harmonize ourselves.
How does this work in terms of distance? Like with do you guys do online remote as well? Does it function the same?
I mean, in effect, it does, because it's not just limited to the body. So yes, people have been working remotely during COVID. And yeah, I mean, you can definitely try that. I have seen some clients here now coming in, and personally, I've done a lot of other things. I finished my textbook, and I had another book that came out, and
So
but
2020 was a good year for you?
it was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of
I hear that so many people from who are very, very high vibe in
a
the
lot
higher dimensions.
yeah, a lot of practicing together, where I
Hmm.
practice with the community, working on ourselves, and that's very powerful.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard that that's like 100% consistency that I hear when from people who are just they're in the higher dimensions of consciousness, and they're doing energy healing is fifth dimensional and above, because you have to connect to source. And
Yes,
source is timeless. It doesn't measure time. Everything's connected. Everything is right at your fingertips whenever it feels like it. So, but a lot of people who are practicing this consciousness in whatever modality or even in their life, many of them are saying much the same thing, that it's life is much much easier, and things just kind of flow easier and manifest faster, and they had a pretty good year. So I like to hear that the practitioners of Jinshin are experiencing much the same flow in their life. Well, can you demonstrate how you can use your fingers to open up more to the life force? So I'm going to practice with you,
yes.
so people
Well,
can learn real quick.
real quick, and the easiest way is to harmonize our total body through holding the fingers. And each of the fingers helps a feeling that's not processed. So
Okay.
we have worry, fear, anger, sadness, and trying to. So let's just practice. Let's say you have a lot of worry, and right? So you can just simply hold your thumb, and whichever side feels comfortable for you.
Mhm.
And if you worry a lot, you may notice that in your life, yeah, you can do it like that. That's like a mudra. Um, if you worry a lot, you may find that you're holding your thumb, subconsciously already. So here you're just bringing awareness. So you're
Kind of
holding
like
your
a baby that sucks their thumb when they're
exactly. Yes,
worry. Mm-hmm.
yes. It helps the stomach energy. It helps digestion. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So people ask me, how long do you hold it? So you can hold it for a moment, or you can hold it for a couple of minutes, and just hold it gently. Wrap your fingers around the whole thumb, and then you feel this pulsation. And when you feel the pulsation, that's the energy beginning to spiral all the way to the center of the body and back out. And that brings you into rhythm with this consciousness. So it's just that easy. And then if you have a lot of fear or anxiety or panic, then you can hold this finger.
Okay, so this finger, a lot of people are feeling that right now with the pandemic closing. It's kind of slowly working its process and slowly working its way out, but it's still people are still feeling that uncertainty of what happens next. So,
Exactly. So a lot of fear is coming up, and then holding the index finger is very helpful. Also, a lot of young people, they talk about anxiety and panic attacks. So this will help. This also
mhm.
helps the back, helping if you have backache, because often backaches come from fear and anxiety.
Mm.
And then, yeah, so you're going to find your favorite fingers, and on different days, they may change as different feelings and emotions come up. And
Mhm.
then the middle finger harmonizes anger. And sometimes instead of sticking up your finger, you can hold your middle finger. And this holds,
Mm.
right, right.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that because in many, the middle finger, when
Exactly.
you're angry or you want to slip somebody off, you put the middle finger. Why do we put the middle finger? You're saying it's because we're angry.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
The middle finger is very powerful. It is a harmonizer, so it helps the total being, and it also helps fatigue in the body. So
Mm.
also with people getting vaccinated, this helps the fatigue flow, which is responsible for the immune system. Very, very important. So
So hold the middle finger will help your immunity,
yes,
will help with anxiety.
and
So
fatigue. Yeah, fatigue, deep fatigue in the body, immunity. It helps the inhale and the exhale. It helps the eyes. All these fingers help many different things, and I'm just listing a few of them right now.
okay, so for those people who choose to get vaccinated, there's going to be in line holding the middle finger.
Yeah, and before we sign off today, I want to give you one more hold for the immune
Hmm.
system and for that. Okay, so
Yes.
don't let's not forget to get to that. And
Okay.
the ring finger helps to harmonize sadness and grief and helps the lungs. So very important for our breath
Mm.
and also for our digestion. And then with this, you can get into the breath and starting to breathe.
I think you do it naturally because I was just doing it naturally.
Exactly. Yes. It's so simple. You want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure you drop your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's important so that you're relaxed. And then the little finger helps the heart, helps to open up our emotions, and helps also trying too hard. If you're efforting a lot, that will actually burden the heart, and it also helps bones. So if
Mm.
you tend to are accident prone, or if you have an injury, or also for if you need to your bones to be stronger, then holding the little finger will help.
Mm.
And then the palm of the hand is all inclusive and helps everything. And that's our prayer position, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
in the East, they bow
Mm-hmm.
and you bow in the East. And then in the West, we shake a hand and also we hold the palm of the hand where we get a lot of actually information from the person. You're getting to really know the person. So I don't know
Is
if
that
you
why
remember.
we hold hands like we shake hands like this, and that's the way, that's where that came naturally is to
Yeah, so I don't know if we will still
acknowledge.
shake hands after COVID, but even with a bow, you get to really, know the person. So
Yeah. Well, I'm Laos, and I've gone to a lot of Laos and Thai Buddhist temples, and they do this, but I do this. I put it up to my third eye and just go,
me too. I like this. So this is another nice hold to
yeah.
practice. So just to round up the fingers here, to remember it, get rid of worry fast. 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 Get rid of worry fast. Fear, anger, sadness, and trying too hard. Okay,
I love
so
that. I love that. And what was and really quick before I forget, what was the last thing that you wanted to show us about this? What was the palm?
the palm of the hand is all inclusive, and that also helps for deep fatigue in the body. And again,
Mm.
when you look at a baby, when their palms are closed, they have a need. It helps the umbilicus energy, and when they're
Oh.
open, they're in harmony. So again, that's something to look at for yourself. If you are hands tend to be like this when you're lying down or sitting down, then you may want to hold your palm to give energy to the total being. So our
So
body gives us all these messages. It's really an art of getting to know and help yourself.
that's really good. Well, now really quick, when people like do this, does that mean anything?
Well, they're actually helping all of their fingers, right? They're helping all of their
When they
organs.
do this?
Yeah, they're helping all of their emotions. They're helping all of them at once. And I don't know, I'm in New York, but often on subways, you see people holding their fingers or one finger or holding this location here,
Mm-hmm.
which calms the body, helps the nervous system. So yes, when you start to understand the art of Jin Shin, then you really can get to know everything about yourself.
And
Because
when people do this, is this like you see this, when people do this, what's this?
yeah, again, then you're holding the palm, right, with your knuckles.
Ah.
So yeah, so understanding that all these holds, they tell a whole story.
Mm, mm. That's very good. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so when all medical routes are exhausted, energy healing is a common outlet that many people try. So, what is there a common type or common case that you guys typically see by the time they come to you?
Yeah, I often see people when they've tried everything else and the doctor really
Hmm.
can't or they can't find anything. So nothing showed us up as on a test yet, but energetically, the body is not up to speed. And so
Mm.
by by regenerating the body, often it starts to heal and those problems will go away. Sometimes also they're immune projects like autoimmune disorders. They're very hard to treat medically, and so when we boost the immune system enough and the body can function, then you will be able to maintain a healthy body. And also because you can practice this on yourself, it's so powerful. I mean, most of my clients, they have a daily self-help routine. They work on themselves, every day and
Hmm.
create a routine that works for them. So that's what's very helpful, because when you go, for example, for acupuncture, you need the practitioner to do it. But this you can do on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I know acupuncture, is finding different points in the body, it's different parts of kinetics in your body to address certain ailments. And oftentimes those ailments are caused by the way in which you live your life, or some of the things that you're working on, the issues that you're working on. And so it would just immediately be, if you're carrying too much, you immediately have a lot of pain right here because you're carrying too much more than you're supposed to. So your body is telling you what is going on that you're not listening to in real life. So what are the common things that people can do in their everyday life to be more preventive of these immune issues that come up?
Or first of all, practice your Jin Shin. That is so important. Like I practice on myself every day. And then the other thing, of course, is to be mindful of the breath, that
Mhm.
a couple of times a day you just tune into the breath and make sure that you're breathing. And that is really just being mindful and being in the here and now, being in the present moment. So that is really important. And then another thing, of course, other things are environmental issues like diet, getting a good sleep, having not too much stress, processing your feelings.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then sometimes, like I mentioned before, there are genetic predispositions that people have. So with the Jinshin, you can really help and prevent also, because in a family, why does one person get it and the other one doesn't? So there's a lot
Mhm.
we can do to maintain health in our body. And we also do look at body, mind, and spirit connection. So it's really
Mhm.
the total being.
Yeah. So it's very much a preventive approach to the overall lifestyle that helps you at optimal immunity, optimal health for the
Yeah.
long term.
Absolutely, but often people come to me when it's already manifested in
Mm.
the
Mm.
body. Like I said, when they've tried everything else, they'll come to me. But I also work a lot with people who are getting medical treatment, and it works very
Mhm.
complementary. Like people who are on radiation and chemotherapy
Right.
will just keep their body their blood counts up and keep them as energetic as possible. And it's also very self-empowering to be able to do these things and really help your own body. It's just very empowering.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Now, on the website, it states that the common issues that your practitioners see are anxiety, digestive issues, migraines, and insomnia, to name a few. Now, in Buddhism, we recognize that these issues are afflictions on the outward reality for wellness. Instead, it's recommended to harness inner wellness and the outer reality will match your new frequency or your new harmonic. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so. Yes, from the individual body, like I said before, we bring it back into rhythm with this universal energy, and there is always harmony there. So we always
Mm-hmm.
bring the body back into harmony, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when you think of the consciousness, there that is harmonious.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you say? Would you
Yeah.
say? Because you're an expert yourself. Do you
Well,
agree?
I would say sometimes when we live in this world, we don't always have to participate with the outer world so much.
What do you mean by
Um,
the world? What do you mean by the our world, outer world exactly?
like because within your consciousness, you create your outer world. You create what comes into form.
Mhm.
And you choose what comes into your experiences. There's 8 billion people in this world. You're not going to talk to all 8 billion people or have 8 billion different experiences. So you choose and we are all energy. We're talking energy. Everybody is energy. And regardless of what your form is or what somebody else's form is or where you are in the form of creation, it is all energy vibrating at different frequencies. And
Mhm.
so when you recognize that everything is all energy, if if you're getting too caught up on the forms, it'll take you away from your normal resonance. You'll almost forget that, oh, wait a minute,
Yeah.
it's my consciousness is creating this. I got to get back to the basics. I got to get back to the conscious and go back to the energy. So
So yeah.
yeah. And so what we found is oftentimes when people are having imbalance in their energy field, it is because they're playing too heavily in the outer world and making the outer world seem more real than the dreamer dreaming the dream.
Mhm.
So,
So yeah, what it sounds like to me is that you're really talking about this reflection of
mm,
it being one and the same matter and energy, but in a different density. And then in Jin Shin Jitsu, and I want to talk about the name Jin Shin Jitsu a little bit also, but we identify body, mind, and spirit, and it manifests in our chest line, our waistline, and our hip line, so that spirit, mind, and body are all within us and within our body. And again, that is a microcosm of the macrocosm. So we have the macrocosm being space, and then our body, the microcosm, but
mhm,
also within our own body, this body, mind, and spirit connection manifesting in the chest line, the waistline, and the hip line. So you see, it keeps coming back to outer world and the inner world, and the movement from one to the other all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Or
It's great.
yeah, the figure eight within our body.
Yeah. As
Um,
so below, it's, I mean, it's in the Bible, it's in all the spiritual texts,
Yep,
you know.
yep, yep. Or, the figure eight of our energy body works in a figure eight, but the top is making a clockwise movement, the bottom is making a counterclockwise movement, but it makes it makes a figure eight. Anyways, yeah, very, very good. We're getting a little bit esoteric here. I think we might be losing some of the people here. Getting a
But
little too esoteric.
please stay and hold your finger, get into the breath and just stay with it, because this is all part of us. And I wasn't brought up with this kind of knowledge at all. I never even heard of energy before. So, and now my
Yeah,
parents are into it. Now they're loving it and they're loving
yeah,
themselves. So, you know, it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
awareness, right? It's an
Yep.
awareness. So
Exactly, exactly.
stay
Just
with us.
yeah, stay with us. I know I sometimes I have to remind myself, wait a minute, this is Buddhism in the fifth dimension, not the 11th dimension or the seventh or sixth. So sometimes I have to, bring that one, dial it back, dial it back. Okay, so the Buddhist Tankas always emphasize prevention as the key to overall wellness. So what are some coping skills for dealing with challenges in life so that people don't manifest later those challenges in their body. So, I mean, are there some coping skills you typically teach your clients to, okay, now that we've done some healing, please remember these guidelines. What do you guys typically tell
Remember the
people?
fingers and remember the breath. Because with each cycle of breath, with each exhale and inhale, we renew. Because when we exhale, we let go, and we let go of all the toxins and all our negativity. And then we can inhale the fresh and the new and the oxygen. And so the breath is so important. So, again, that is so simple, and that's really for everybody. And then on that, we can start to build a routine holding certain simple
Hmm.
and it's just really being aware of, because also if you have stress, then with the exhale it all changes, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's really my basic message. It's so simple.
Keep it simple. I love it. Just keep it simple. You know, I found that many higher energy individuals are very empathic and they take on stress or trauma from society or from others dealing with tough life challenges. Should people set boundaries for personal wellness and detox? I mean,
I think it depends a little bit on the person. Some people, they are more open to taking on energy from others. Um,
mm,
Luckily, I don't naturally do that when, because I see a lot, I work with a lot of sick people,
right.
and I place my hands, I don't take on their energy. So that is really just a shift in awareness, that when you connect to the source energy, you don't take on from the person. So you get out of your ego and basically, yeah, you're basically the ego, I guess it is, so
Yeah.
that you allow again to connect to this light that's
Yeah.
available to all of us. And yeah, for some people that's a little bit more of a practice, and I do think it's important to have boundaries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's two. There's two ways I think in Buddhism, and I've spoken to various monks and nuns about this when it comes to energy healing for the people who are practicing and learning various energy healings. Is there's two modalities or ways of thought. One is like you say, taking on the energy and then transmuting and letting it go, which I think is a slippery slope if you take on the imbalanced energy, you know, then you can almost be like a dumping ground for
Yeah.
imbalanced energy. And that's for some people they can work with that. For others, it's like, no, you need boundaries. We're gonna teach you how to do your own energy healing on yourself.
Mhm.
We're gonna facilitate,
Yeah.
and then you take it with you so that you can learn to do it for yourself moving forward. Like, so there's some very hard boundaries. So I don't know which perspective um works best. I think it really depends on the practitioner.
In Jinshin, we work, again, we don't take on that energy from the person,
Mhm.
because when you place your hands, it is the energy from the light, from something
Mhm.
beyond us, really.
Mhm.
And yeah, you can combine it, you can compare it to a jumper cable that you apply to a car. It
Mhm.
recharges the battery of the car,
Mhm.
but it's not actually energy that's being exchanged.
Yeah.
You just revitalize the life force within the person that you apply that your hands to. So that's a very different concept than giving your own energy or taking it on. I personally don't believe in that either, because you don't want all that energy from someone else, and it's not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I respect some people's who to energy healing who talk about that transfer and that of energy. I wonder if it falls into spiritual ego, where it's like, oh, it's because of me that I'm taking your imbalanced energy and I'm going to transmute it for you. It's still a lot of that ego credit, or no, we're just a jumper cable. We're just a conduit. we're going to facilitate, and then we're going to pack up and leave.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't really matter if it works for somebody and they can help somebody to take it on. Like, who are we to say? Who am I to say
yeah,
that doesn't work? That's totally fine.
so it
Uh,
depends on the person.
it totally depends on the person. I teach practitioners, and so I think if an individual wants to do that, it's not how we present it, because
Mm,
it we don't know. We in Jinshin we say anybody can do it. Everybody can place their hands on someone and be a facilitator to harmonize the energy. If I would
right.
teach how somebody would take on the energy, that is just not possible. That is, yeah, a different thing. But on an individual level, I think if people do that and it works, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, there's a lot of debates in Buddhism and energy healing and different ways to do it. So we offer, there's always that dual nature to everything. So it depends on which works for you. And if it works, then it's wonderful. Get to the
Mhm.
next level. Okay,
Right.
so energy healing is not recognized in modern medicine, so health insurance typically won't cover it. However, we made some progress with acceptance of acupuncture, chiropractic, and some yoga and meditation as forms of wellness offerings. That and many other countries in Europe also accept energy healing as part of their preventive healthcare system. Do you see the US insurance companies eventually covering energy healing as some form of prevention or
Yeah.
wellness program?
Wow, for prevention, yeah, definitely. I think some of them cover medical massage, and of course, when you think of acupuncture, that is also moving energy. It is the same
Hmm.
thing, really. Uh, in a way, it is, and so I think we're moving towards that. And I'm definitely hoping, yes, because I mean, then you get into a whole different discussion. Why is there's so much money in the medical world and pharmaceuticals, and who knows? But
Yeah,
I think also that we can prevent it for ourselves. When you study Jinshin, it's all about self-help and
yeah.
keeping your body healthy. So we can do a lot of it ourselves, and then we don't even need those insurance companies as much.
Yeah. So I mean, because I really see like in a higher frequency individual and in a society that is full of higher frequency individuals, it's about taking self responsibility for your personal wellness. Don't wait till you're sick to go to the hospital, or don't wait till you're dying to go to the hospital. It's about tuning into yourself and your decisions and your life and all these different factors. And it's so much cheaper for prevention in the long run than waiting till you're sick and dying to get addressed. Because at that point, it's almost like you never took the car for any tune-ups and oil changes and maintenance.
Yeah.
And then you finally took the car when it completely blows on the freeway and it's almost like unrepairable for some things. And our bodies are very much like a transportation vehicle. So you know, in Buddhism, it's always about prevention, 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 prevention. Come back for your check-in, come back for your maintenance. If you've noticed something off, work on that. So, yes, you
So
were saying?
keeping us healthy on a spiritual level, on a psychological level, and on a physical level. And a lot of people know to take care of our physical bodies, a healthy diet, going to the gym, exercising, all of these kind of things. And then to keep our psychology, our head, our mind healthy, and then to keep our spiritual body. So again, it's just this body, mind, and spirit connection that lives within us,
Hmm.
to keep that healthy. And I completely agree with you to that we can prevent ourselves very much, very much.
Yeah, yeah. We don't have to suffer so much. We can suffer a lot less.
And laughing, fun, having fun
Yeah,
is so,
yeah,
so
yeah.
important, right?
Yeah, exactly. And oftentimes whenever I go, I love kind of healing retreats, healing spas, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of like, oh, I really wish that this would be covered by insurance because
Yeah.
insurance will cover my acupuncture, it will cover my chiropractic, it will cover my medical massage. But it won't cover some of the other healing modalities that I've tested and tried. And
Mhm.
pay out of pocket for. So,
So,
hopefully in the near future, it falls, all energy healing falls under miscellaneous preventive wellness.
and
Make
again,
some kind of category to cover it.
healing modalities you can practice on yourself. So
Hmm.
it's available already.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so there is a lot of courses on your website to choose from, and a lot of free courses as well. Now, the Institute is in New York, but you also offer online learning. So, how will people get the same hands-on tutorship online as compared to the in-person course at your school?
Well, right now is COVID. Of course, we haven't had any in-house courses. So I
Mm-hmm.
finished the book, The Core, which I suppose you're going to show a link to all of
Mm-hmm.
our.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The core is a textbook for if you want to practice on someone else, and it's for self-study. So
Mm-hmm.
with this book, I explain everything, how it works and all of it. And then you can practice on someone because it's by the practice that you're going to learn. And then at the Institute, Lola and I are always available to talk. And I do a lot of live videos, and we have a YouTube channel, Jin Shin Institute. So I have so much, and we are so available because it's very little known, the art of Jin Shin, and
Mm-hmm.
our mission to spread it with more people because it is so effective and so simple to practice. So everybody should know about it since like
Yeah.
we're all doing it on ourselves anyway already, holding all these points, you know?
I can see a lot of people at at the ER, the ICU clinics holding themselves, doing their doing their practices.
I have taught in hospitals to medical professionals, to doctors and nurses for either self-care or
Mhm,
nurses in emergency rooms, and
mhm,
they use it like for pain to have a simple hold that helps all kind of pain in the body. So
mhm.
doctors and nurses are they're starting to be much more open to these kind of
Yeah.
activities.
Well, speaking of doctors and nurses, a lot of doctors and nurses that I've come across, many of them, like when I go to, if I'm having a back problem or a knee joint problem, I will go to the specialist at my hospital just to make sure that there's nothing serious about that, and they'll take a look at it, and then I'll go to the chiropractor and get adjusted and massage, and go to a dietitian or a nutritionist to see if there's something I could do. I just kind if I got the insurance, I'm going to use it all the way through everything, so everybody gets a little bit of love. Um, and hopefully soon the insurance will cover energy healing modalities as another way to check another box and go, well, have I tried that? Have I looked a different way? So I don't restrict my wellness and health to a specific thing or a
Mm.
specific genre of addressing it. And I think a lot of people are really open to that because I do hear a lot of my doctors and nurses that I go to for different things saying, "Oh, I do this meditation course. It really works." And actually, at the hospital, I have a doctor who lives across the street from me. But at the hospital, which is 10 minutes away from my house, they actually during COVID they email everybody within the network free online meditation classes
Mhm.
um, as
Yeah,
part of the a part of the public service from the hospital. Free meditation classes.
I think a lot of research has been done already also on Jin Shin Jitsu. There has been research done in hospitals,
Hmm.
and a lot of scientists are talking about it. And yeah, I think it is much more accepted also because not all the answers are with medicine. For some things it's very helpful, Western medicine, but for some things it's not. And so people look further because they just don't find all the answers within Western.
Yeah,
And again, a combination is beautiful.
combination.
A combination is wonderful.
Yeah, because the East is, I mean, the West is very, very good. And not to say that the Eastern medicine is not good at like the physical stuff, but the West is very, very specialized in like physical
Yes.
surgeries and all that kind of stuff. But the East has had this very long-standing tradition in their spiritual traditions um, as energy. healing. That's why they call it energy healing, and working with energy and the aura and the, the chakras and everything that makes up the signal, that the non-local signal that goes to the bodies in which we live through. So a fusion of Eastern and Western, of that body and that spirit, that energy, would be something that would be the next stage in our evolution in how we
Right.
understand our medicine.
Yeah, if you think about very concrete example, but if somebody breaks their hip, they may need a hip replacement. They need to go
Mm-hmm.
after they get the surgery. If you apply something like Jin Shin Jyutsu, then it speeds up the healing process very, very much, because when there is surgery, there's an interruption in the energy flow, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they pass into your system. And so when you revitalize that energy, the body can heal itself much faster. So in that way, it's a beautiful combination where you can use both. And also with pain or chronic pain,
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very helpful. And so that's really on a very physical level. The spiritual comes with it automatically. So that's just
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the progress in Jin Shin and in other energy healing modalities like Jin Shin, because they've already proven in science through meditation research and mindfulness research that when they hook information of people's brains up to an EEG brain scan, they and the person is in very high frequency meditation, they're getting information that is not from their brains. They're getting information that is non-local and outside of their body.
Mhm.
And they've already proven this in science, that people in the high frequencies are getting information and getting healing from outside of their body. And that is that life force, that is the universe of consciousness and everything we've been talking about. So the codes are out in the universe being sent into the body that is tuning into that. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, a lot more to look forward to. So, what are your suggestions for building a fifth dimensional society full of a diverse set of energy healers like Jin Shin practitioners?
I really think that it starts with self practice, because once your body is in harmony, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't stay within the individual body, but it spreads. It's like spreading the love, and it becomes bigger than you. If I am in harmony, the person next to me will feel it and they feel
Mm-hmm.
calm. It's like a domino effect. So
It's like
I
a
think
love virus.
taking responsibility for ourselves and our own healing and well-being is where it all begins.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's
so
a
I would like to share one hold for the immune
yes,
system, since
yes.
all of us, or a lot of people, are going for the vaccine. And if you do or if you don't, in Jinshin, we work with 26 locations on the body on the right and 26 on the left. And the key to the immune system is SEL. We call them safety energy locations, number 3. And it's right here at the tip of the shoulder blade. Yeah, so you can hold it like this,
Mm-hmm.
or like this. If you just go and feel the right and the left side and feels which one feels
There's like a
tighter.
muscle there. There's a muscle there, right?
Yes, yes. So if one is going to feel tighter than the other, so if you go for your vaccine, you want to keep SEL3 open, because it's the key to the immune system. So before, open it up. After, open
How
it
do you,
up.
so just hold on to it and that's what opens it up?
Yeah, just hold on to it. And then with your other hand, you make a mudra with your thumb over your ring fingernail. And the
Uh-huh.
ring finger helps the lungs. So this opens the lungs. And then the 3 helps to open up the immune system. So this little hold is very, very powerful.
So
Pre,
you do
post.
it before and after. If you decide to get the vaccine, you can do before or after do this.
Yeah. Some, even if you have a cold or anything
Mm.
immune related, a fever or a flu, the 3s are key. And if your immune system gets a reaction, one of the 3s, this one or this one,
Mm.
you will feel that it's tender. And so you want to hold it till it opens up. The ring finger over the nail.
What now? I know what this is, but can you tell people what this mudra That is for your body?
Well, this one helps to harmonize the digestive system.
Mm.
This one helps the kidney and bladder energy and fear. So yeah, all of them are very powerful. You can move through all of the fingers like this. The
Yeah.
reason why I choose this one is because it helps the lungs, and the lungs
Mm.
help everything. And the nail helps the inhale. So you have the nail and the palm. The palm helps to exhale, the nail helps to inhale. I mean, we can
And then
get
the
more.
breathing, right? You do the breathing while you're doing this too.
Yes, and the Jin Shin in and of itself brings you right into the breath by
Mm.
itself. There's not even anything you
You don't have
need
to
to.
try. It just does naturally.
Yeah, so this is a very good thing to hold. And like you're doing, you can hold it on the center,
Yeah.
on the
I
opposite.
see a lot. I go to Asian Mart, grocery store, and I see a lot of Asian women walking around like doing this all day. Just doing this all day.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're just doing it naturally. I don't, and they don't all know why they're doing it, but they just do it naturally because because when you're tuned into your body, this is where the stress is coming from.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. This is the one for stress, and then this is a different one, and then
Uh,
this immune system 3, and then 11 is for stress. So yes, you see a lot of people sitting like this.
yeah, yeah,
Just place your hand on your shoulder, and it helps to release stress.
yeah, yeah. Do you hear that, guys? So
There's
easy. And I know we're going through some interesting times right now and stuff, and so everybody has an opinion about the vaccine. Whatever your reasons are, they're your reasons. And I don't necessarily have an opinion. It is all personal choice and it's all life lessons. So, we've already pre-planned all of this before we were born anyways, according to Buddhism. So so do meditation and find out your chart and then and then get over your fears, move on with your life. But if you do decide to do it, these are some things that can help you kind of alleviate that stress and anxiety that you may feel about the vaccination if you're getting it.
Yeah, that's right. Keep your faith.
Okay. Okay. So that's just personal wellness from the Jin Shin Murai, and actually, that is personal wellness that I've recognized those patterns as well in yoga and in other practices and Buddhism as well. So it's not conflicting to any kind of medical recommendations. These are just you know personal. They help alleviate a lot of that stress and anxiety that you may be feeling about different things. Awesome. Well, do you have a last message you want to leave people? Because there's a lot of here that people can do every day.
Yeah, there is a lot of information here, and yeah, what I like to say that if you have a body, practice Jinshin. When you hold a finger, you're already practicing. So there's really no reason not to practice and harmonize your energy. It's available to everybody. Already today, you learned so much holding your
Hmm.
finger, helping the entire body. So yeah, just practice, share it with your loved ones, your children, your parents, your partners, and
You can
share.
do it on your dog. Can't you do it on your dog or your pets too? They
Absolutely.
love it.
Animals, yes, and because they're very open, they don't even have that resistance of, oh, do I believe this? They just, yes,
You put your
very,
dog to sleep. They just go, oh.
yes.
I love this. You really talk to sleep. Oh, wow, that was wonderful. Well, Alexis, thank you for offering to teach the Jin Shin Murai modality, which
Yeah,
people can use for self-healing and to facilitate self-healing to their clients. So everyone, for more information about the Jin Shin Institute's offerings, please visit their website, which is Jin, Jin, Shin, SHIN Institute. So that's jinshininstitute.com. And thank you to our listeners for listening to another enlightening conversation. Until next time, blessings.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Merkaba Chakras, where we talk Buddhism in the fifth dimension. For more information about today's guest, please go to the show description. For more information about Vaughn's metaphysical work, please go to merkabachakras.com. The views expressed today are for entertainment purposes and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host or replace any medical or legal advice. Don't forget to subscribe for more interviews about the fifth dimension. Until we meet again, blessings.